So let's move on to the next challenge, and it's the one that people tend to think about a lot, I think, which is technology. We've got someone who's looking for an e-learning authoring tool that supports localization. So let's go around and just talk about some of the features that they should be looking for in this authoring tool.
Yeah, so one of the key features to look out for an e-learning tool is the export and import function. How are you actually going to get the content to the translators, and do they need access to that specific platform to translate there, or can we put that through a translation management system so that translators can efficiently work on that content? You want to also have some, depending on what your content looks like, you want to have some ability to, QA or clean up the translations, just because languages might look different on the screen than they would in English.
You would also want to ensure that you can support different languages. If you're localizing to Arabic, then the content will have to display right to left, for example. You have to ensure that different fonts are supported. This can be, challenging with Asian languages or Arabic again. So considering those things up front is an important element that could surprise you further down the line if things are not appearing correctly. So we would recommend maybe some early testing. You can send some sample files to us, and we will pre-translate them, and you can see, will this behave as I hope in this particular language setting? So you can kind of preempt certain mistakes from the outset and engineer them out and ensure that you're prepared for that.
Yeah, I think just to add on that is all the content localizable? Like, are you clicking on all, for example, in a quiz or in a game, are you clicking in all the steps and everything is popping out and everything can be editable? I think that's an important point. And if you can use it in all your platforms, maybe your customer is going to use it on a laptop, or is going to be used on a telephone. That also impacts the size of the fonts. You need to be aware of your audience before creating the actual assets.
Our focus is on localization, but I think it's also important to remember that is one consideration amongst many. So there will be other things that you need to consider about what features a tool has. And often with e-learning, we find that clients use a whole suite of tools. It might not just be one tool that does everything. They might create audio content in another tool, or video in a video editing tool. So just to have an awareness that it might not be a one answer for everything, that there's a silver bullet piece of technology. You might need to choose from the best for each step, so that you're using a complete suite of tools that supports localization well, but also means that you can do everything you want your content to do.
The different providers of different tools often have different ways of describing different features that they have, which may or may not be similar. How can the company make sure that it is actually having the features that they really need?
I think the simplest way is to try it out. I mean, most software providers offer free trials nowadays, and we are a great advocate at Rubric of pilot projects. So if you are looking at 3 or 4 different candidates, for example, make sure that you are able to test them out fully and that you do a complete dry run of the process, so that you're checking all of your content is exported for translation. That we've had cases where in an e-learning tool, most of the content is, but not the quiz content. That just goes somewhere else and doesn't get exported. So there was a need for a lot of manual rework there. So go through the whole process, talk to your localization service provider, understand what they need the tool to do, how they would use it if they're re-engineering the content as well, and making sure that it has all those features. but you know it has them because you've tried it out.